side. Steven is on the right. That is...
All right, Kyle.
No,
Kyle, shut the fuck up.
No, I can't! I cannot! I can't watch this, Brian! I can't play it!
Are you alright? Take a breath.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna fucking lose it! Defense, what's
Okay,
that?
so
What?
you already have. Reel yourself in. Let's go. You're a grown man.
No, it's on Steven, man! That is Nick the Greek! He's on the left side, Steven is on the right. That is...
Alright, Kyle.
No,
Kyle, shut the fuck up.
No, I can't! I cannot! I can't watch this, Brian! I can't play it!
Are you alright? Take a breath.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna fucking lose it! Defense, what's
Okay,
that?
so
What?
you already have. Reel yourself in. Let's go.
Well, boys, we're
We
live. We are live.
You sure we're live?
What I'm looking at says we're live.
You know, I watched the opening of this fucking show, and like, we're gonna get to that. But before we do that, hello and welcome to another edition of the Thursday Throwdown. As always, I am your host, X to the D, to the A, to the L, to the Y. We have a small panel today because apparently OP Jelly is running some sort of fucking Olympic camp over there. So our two co-hosts had to go practice. Maybe Cortez and I should be following suit, seeing as our team can't seem to win a series, but we're here, and it's the Throwdown. So welcome, and thank you for coming, and we love you all, sexually and or not. But before we get into it, man, let's meet the panel tonight. We got somebody, he's not new to the league, he's not new to the Throwdown, but he makes his spots when he feels necessary. None other than the Sergeant, Mr. Lubner. I Soldier Up, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Another day. Beautiful day outside, sitting out on the porch, hanging out. Happy to be here. Talk some shit. Get some shit talk to me, Have a good time.
It's good because, like, we all are on teams that are sucking. So, like, it works out. And it's just the level of suck that you,
It's true.
prefer to
It's
see.
all right. You gotta make do with what you got, right?
Exactly. Last but not least, man, my partner in crime, my mini-me, although he's bigger than me, but, like, my twin, Cortez. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Thanks for obviously I'm glad to be on the show. I'm a host here now, I guess, so I don't know why I'm thanking you, but thanks for the introduction. Something DJ just said that I've realized has kind of went down since like season 4 is the shit talking that used to happen on the show. And like the Sober Elitists, there used to be a lot more shit talk in this league. There hasn't been a lot of that lately. Where's it all gone, Dales? And
It's
DJ,
there,
where's it
man.
gone?
It's there, but it's hard to shit talk when you're 9, 13, and 2.
Or worse. Can't really shit talk anybody from where I'm at, man.
I mean, nobody on this show right now can currently do shit as far as shit talking. DJ's won like 4 games, and we have been misery. So nobody is in any position to run their dick liquor. And the Capitals are losing 1-0 already.
They tied it up 1-1.
Oh, they tied it up 1-1. Thank God. Oh, man. So, anyways, man,
Sick hat.
let's get into it. So, most of you guys saw that opening clip where this was, man, shout out to Brian with a Y, man, because this has been quite the season for him. Hi, my name is Earl, a.k.a. 77 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, was like being a piece of shit. He gets himself rule 1. Brian goes out, makes a trade Lime for Kyle. Kyle is this elite goaltender. He comes in. He's supposed to change the team. He's supposed to change the game. You're the Vezina winning goaltender. You're supposed to be the guy. There has been some, drama around Mr. Kyle Fernberg and his fucking attitude. And, as you see in the video, like it's funny, right? Like to hear somebody react that way. And literally, yes, it was a breakaway. There's one rule, right? Like you don't chirp your goalie. Like that never happens. But I'm here to tell you something. If the goalie's opening his dick liquor like that and chirping the rest of the fucking team, it's all hands on deck. All I heard were Kyle Fernberg built-in excuses blaming literally everybody, so much so that he has the audacity to go, defense, what's up? Kyle, listen, man. You're wearing this like a badge of honor. You don't think I see you? You don't think I see you on the forums wearing this like it's funny? Trying to promote your Twitch stream off of this? You're a fucking piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You don't talk to your teammates like that. And then you want to go around and gloat like it's funny? Like it's a thing. It's funny because it's fucking embarrassing. Embarrassing. You are a 21-year-old kid acting like a fucking fool. That's an absolute joke, and you want to wear it like a badge of honor. Like it's funny. Like, oh, look what I did. You shit on Time to Get Steven. You shit on Tompkins. You shit on fucking your captain who went out on a limb to keep you in this fucking league, and that's how you repay him? You can't take it? You can't play it? Then don't. You know, as far as I'm concerned, if it were up to me, your application's lost next year. That's fucking ridiculous. Absolute embarrassment. You went from being literally the most chill dude that I've ever had on one of my fucking teams to literally one of the biggest pieces of shit. You're up there with Atri. You're up there with fucking every single person that we've ruled one. You don't fucking talk to your teammates like that. And if it were up to me, you wouldn't play here. Absolute fucking embarrassment. DJ, you're an admin. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of embarrassing, man. Like, there's a degree to shit talking where everything is cool, and you know, shit talking is fun. Everybody chirps each other. It's cool. But when you take it, there's a fine line, and you take it over that line, then it gets to be a little bit embarrassing, and it's just not something that we really want here in the league. You know, we're basically a big family here. We're a small league. We're not as big as LG or any of these other leagues. It's a family kind of environment, and that shit just doesn't fly. Especially from the current Vesna holder.
I mean, listen, man, here's the thing. Here's the reality. You want to go on the forums, you want to talk shit, you want to say how great you are, that's fine. But if you don't back it up, dude, people are going to let you know about it. And when you're getting shit stomped every game, no matter what the reasons are, doesn't matter what the reasons are, whether it's bad defense, bad offense, bad whatever. Doesn't matter if you're on – it doesn't matter. If you talk as much shit as you did, Mr. Fernberg, when you talk that much shit, guess what? The second you slip up, the second you fucking blink the wrong way, everybody's going to be all over your shit. And guess what? That's what happened. So now you're sitting there grasping at straws. What's the excuse? What's the excuse? You're going off of one fucking goal on a breakaway. Great. When you were in our series, you were shit. You were shit. And it wasn't fucking Time to Get Steven's fault. It wasn't Winisimov's fault. It wasn't anybody. And you know the worst part about this? The group that you're with, those are fucking good dudes. Not that everybody in this league isn't great, because everybody in this league is great, but those are guys that you literally, half of that fucking team you grinded with last year. You grinded with Time to Get Steven last year. You were with him last year for your cup. He helped you win a fucking Vesna last year, and you want to shit on him? And you want to make a play and you want to shit on him, say you can't do it? If I was him, I'd be pissed to be playing in front of your ass. I wouldn't even want to be playing defense in front of you, because you're a piece of shit. I could go on here, you can say, oh, Dale, you're an admin, you can't say that. But listen, you can't walk around here, talk to people like that, do that, and not expect it. You're going to get it back, man. You're right up there with Woolen. You're right up. And you know the worst part, dude, is that you came to me. You sent me a message that, Daily, I got a lot to prove. I'm going to change. I'm going to change. I swear I'm going to change. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You've done none of those things. You put on a fucking act. And then the first time some shit happens, you do this, and then you play it off like it's some fucking like, hey, look at me, look what I did. I'm funny. No, you were acting like an asshole. Brian, the same age as you, by the way, Brian with the Y, your captain, in that same clip. Dude, relax. What's wrong with you? I'm going to lose it, man. You've already lost it. I've never heard such a calm demeanor in my life for two people literally the same exact age. Absolute joke. And like I said, if it was up to me, it'd be a lost application next year, because I don't have the patience or I don't want the excuses anymore. I don't want them. You went out there and said you're going to do this, do that. You did nothing. Nothing. You are what you are. Cortez, man, what do you think on the issue?
I think there's always a way to speak to your team, especially in a moment when you're mad. I mean, you even heard me in a party when I get a little too loud, when I say something a little too much. Perfect example is when Dan kind of yelled at Soberg when Sober was playing a weak game in goalie. There's a way to say something, and there's a time to say something. The way Kyle did it, of course, being in a moment of frustration when it comes to being a goalie, it's hard to hold your tongue, especially in that moment. But, I mean, man, like you said, Brian held his composure perfectly fine, and perfect, actually, and gave the perfect responses for it. Obviously, I think Kyle's been having a rough go this season. He hasn't been doing the greatest job in net. I mean, he's not having the same success he had last season being a starting goalie, and I think that's added extra frustration to this. I mean, he is the current Vezina winner. He is the Vezina champion of last season, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and a Season 6 champion. I mean, the kid's got talent, but from starting the season to how shit was going to how it happened now, it's rough because we all know Kyle's a good kid. It's just the fact of there's a way to talk to your teammates. There's a way to correct a play, especially in the moment. If you're heated, there's still a way to do it. You just don't do it that way. Nothing comes from that other than just hatred and words that aren't empty meaning behind everything from that moment on.
You know, it's just embarrassing because now that team has to play with this guy. Now they have to sit there after he sat there and chirped him and said how terrible they all were, and now they have to play with the fucking guy for what, another 3 weeks? Another 3 weeks? You know, you don't get Rule 1 for being a piece of shit. Like, you don't get Rule 1 for chirping. Like, he has to do something, right? Technically, he hasn't done anything besides be a terrible human being. But now these fucking guys are stuck playing with him. Now they gotta sit there and play with the fucking guy. Like, they're happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sucks. That sucks. Like, time to get Stevens. They gotta play for this fucking guy. Like, play with him now, and like he's sitting there shit talking him. Like, what the fuck? Like, why? Why would you want to play with him? That sucks. That's miserable. You play twice a week, and one of the dudes on your team you can't fucking stand, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody on the team. If that were me, though, I'd be pissed off. Like, what the fuck? What? The second you give up a short side goal, I get to chirp the fuck out of you? Oh, come on! I can't play defense in front of that misery. Can't do that. He's not holding the fucking post.
Yeah, imagine it was the other way around. Just imagine that for a second. Yeah.
Can you imagine if Drift would have chirped fucking Holtby for some of the goals he let in our series? Misery, man. Anyways, listen, Marky, this is 2 weeks in a row, man. I'm pumped to see you, Agent. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good, brother. I'm really good. And to touch on the subject you're talking on, that happened during the series we were playing them. And I don't think their defense played terrible. I think Steven gave up, a couple breakaways, but they aren't just him. There's two defensemen. There's no reason to rip into one person. You got a center to cover your back. I mean, there's a whole team, and you can't just blame one person. And he went overboard. I think you guys all touched on it. He went overboard by far. And at the end of that clip, you also don't see is Gretzky's he blew up on him after that. After Kyle had his whole show, Gretzky's let him fucking hear it too, right back. So I think Gretzky's played it perfectly. I mean, the dude kind of made a big scene out of a game. I mean, everybody's taking time out of their own lives to play with each other, to try and compete, try and have fun. And the dude kind of ruined it, I would say, for that entire team the rest of that night. I mean, that's pretty miserable. They took him out of net because nobody wanted him back there, because he was bitching about it, whatever. That's brutal, man.
That's how miserable it is. Like, you had to reconstruct.
Misery.
You had to reconstruct the whole lineup because of one fucking person. Here's the thing. Shout out to Winisimov, man. Shout out to Viper. Shout out to Sniper.
He got the W in net, man. He beat us in net.
Ween's a good goalie too, man.
Did you guys win that series 2-1?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's funny. The backup goalie, apparently, for the team can get the win.
Shout out to Tompkins. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Steve. I mean, it's a good group of dudes. I'm sorry that even had to happen. But it pisses me off that it happened. But what pisses me off more is this guy's on our site, on 239 site, and he's wearing it like, oh, you want to hear me freak out more? Come to my Twitch stream. Don't promote your fucking Twitch stream off something shitty that you did for the league. Like, don't come into the chat box, promote your Twitch stream like, oh, yeah, now I'm going to do this shit because in a heated moment or whatever it is, you showed your true colors. That's what happened. And it kills me because, man, I remember season 5 when I had him on my team. I remember how good of a seventh guy he was, how much he bonded with my team so much so that no Gretzky's drafted him in the very next season and captain and played with Esoteric, who's literally, although chirping aside, one of the most chill dudes that you will ever meet in your whole entire life. It just speaks volumes to the player. But you want to go into the fucking chat box and you want to promote your Twitch stream. You want to go on our site. You want to go on the 239 community site and promote your Twitch stream based on something shitty that you fucking did. That might even be worse than A-Tree. At least A-Tree just said, fuck it, I'm out. You're sitting there throwing it in everybody's fucking face? Are you serious? Misery, dude. Misery. That would be a lost application for me next year. Again, we do everything by vote. That would be my vote because I think it's the most fucking ridiculous thing ever. But what are you going to do? Moving on. So, I want to touch on this since I'm already fucking fired up. Waivers. Let's talk about waivers, DJ. You probably get a little smile on this because it seems to be every season people don't understand what waivers are. Now, let me explain to you what a waiver is. A waiver is a player that you get from, yes, the admins. Yes, we have a waivers. There's 4 or 5 of them this year. What happens is you have 7 guys on your team. When your starting 6 can't show, you go to your 7th. If you have a series and your 7th can't show, then you try to reschedule. If you cannot reschedule, you get a waiver, okay? You do not get to pick the waiver. You have to adjust your lineup. Just because you're missing B, if you're missing B, Crips, and Net, that doesn't mean you get a goalie. That's not what that means. You get the guy available for that night based on how many times they've played, based on who's available. You know, we can't help who's available, but you don't just get the first fucking D available. It doesn't happen. That's not how it goes. You get the waiver that we assign. You don't get it just because you need a D, you don't get a D. Just because you need a center, you don't get a center. Just because you need a goalie, you don't get a goalie. You know, Lord X21 has been in this league for 12 seconds, and he's in the chat box acting like he knows a fucking thing.
First time he's posted in the chat box, too.
This has been the fucking waiver rule for the last decade. It has been this way for 10 years. Nothing has changed. It has been the same fucking way. This is not, oh, let's get Yam. Yam's not out to get anyone. I got Marine Mike spewing bullshit that he's not fucking used. We used 3 fucking waivers all year. We used 3. He's like, oh, you're picking other guys over me. We haven't had to use that many. So, Mike, I love you, but you're just way off base, and everybody wants to blame fucking Yambak. It's not fucking Yambak. Jesus Christ. So, guys, waivers, like, if you can't field your roster, if you can't field your team, you don't just get to pick the guy. That's not how it works. You get a assigned waiver based on who's available, who's played, and what's going on for that night. You don't just get a D-man. What if X Daly's a waiver and you say, oh, don't show up, man. Daly's a waiver and nobody else plays. And hey, we need a waiver. Can we get a D-man? I'm the only fucking – that's not how – no. Jesus Christ, man. Agent – waivers, you know how it works. Like, you get the waiver system, like, you understand it.
It's not hard to grasp, brother. I mean, honestly, if you're like not a shitbag, like when I was captain, I asked Yam, I was like, hey, if I could get a D-man, it'd be great. But if I don't, whatever. You get what you get, man. You fucking play around it, figure it out. Your team didn't show up. The team you drafted didn't show up. And you're picking somebody up off of waivers that's given to you. Make it work around them. Figure it out what's going to be your best lineup and do it in about 3 minutes or you're going to be fucked. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, so, like, captains can play anywhere. They can play any position. I don't care who you are. You can play any position. So if your goalie's out and you need a waiver and that waiver is not able to play goalie, strap up the fucking pads, man. It's your fault your team's not showing up. It is what it is. All these fucking accusations for Yam's out to get me. Yam's not doing this. I want this guy from waiver. It's bullshit, and we have to fucking explain this every fucking season. It's getting tiring, man. It really is.
And again, Yambag does a lot of the shit work. That's why he's the face of it. That's why he gets thrown out. That's why Yam is the bad guy. Yam speaks on behalf of all the admins. Like, that's what happens. And when there's instances, we deal with them. But 95% of the time, like a waiver thing, that's all of us. That's not Yam. It's all of us. So, like, really, yes, he's the face of it, but you're mad at the admins. But here's the thing. Don't be mad at us. Don't be mad at DJ. Don't be mad at McGilla. Don't be mad at Pale Poner. Don't be mad. I could go down the fucking list. Don't be mad at Hugh Laurie. Don't be mad at Esoteric. Be mad at your team for not showing up. Now, if it's an MIA date, you should be planning for this. You should be knowing that this is coming. You should either be rescheduling that series if at all possible. You should be doing whatever you can to accommodate. But as captains, yes, you notice as a captain, you can play wherever you want. You don't have a refuse. You don't have any restrictions as far as your positions. Because guess what? As a captain, if someone doesn't show up, you have to play the fill. So if you get Marine Mike and Marine Mike's a forward and you don't have a goalie, guess what? Tom FCW, you throw the pads on and you get net. Like, it's not ideal, but that's how it is. That's what it is, and that's what it's always been. So I'm sitting here blaming Yam and different things like these. Guys, it's been like this since the inception of 239, first and foremost. So we're in, season 7? I don't even know anymore. We're in season 7 right now. It has been the same since day one. This is not something new. So guys who've been in the league, that's what kills me, is the guys who've been in the league for fucking ever are the one, when I hear them complain about, I'm like, do you not know the rule? Do you not know what it is? Like this is how it's been since literally season 0. So, and it's been like that long before season 0, but I just feel like it's another reason to get upset, mad, whatever. So I use the Texas Danglers as an example, and because this is something that recent that happened. We've used what, 2 or 3 waivers all year, if that. I mean, it's not many. So everybody's showing up. But, I mean, again, like, this is what happens. Like, you don't get to pick your waiver. That's not how it works, okay? So, if you have any more questions about the waivers, feel free to direct my way. I would love to have a conversation. Okay. I'm done being emo now, man. I just wanted to get both of those things out of the way.
Now that you're done being that, I just want to say you keep picking on me here for being a Capitals fan, but you're wearing a Washington Nationals hat and have an Ovechkin jersey on behind you.
Listen,
not on, but it's up on the wall.
Here's the thing that people need to understand, because I saw Schwartz's like dick-licking comment in the chat. I have like over 200 hats. That's why I always wear them. It's kind of like a staple.
Yeah.
So I have a hat for every team. On the wall, I've got a Winnipeg jersey. I've got a fucking Caps jersey. I've got a Jamie Benn jersey here. I got a Rick Nash here. I got some Blackhawk shit here. I did not wear this to troll you though. I swear to God on it. It just kind of happened. I was wearing the blue sweater, so I went with the primarily blue hat. It was more like a match base, and I had to wear a hat because of
it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah. Kind of like you. Every day. Well, here's the thing, man. I actually want to segue into. I want to talk about this team really quick. I want to talk about the Walker Texas Danglers, and they're on a little bit of a run here. Granted, I guess people would argue the skill of the teams that they've played per se. But here's the thing about the Danglers, man. They've got themselves back in this. And I said 3 teams were out last week, but I had to eat my fucking words because they're back in this thing. And they are literally tied with Donnie's Diner for that 12 seed right now with 20 points. Obviously, there's games in hand that come into play, different things like that. But when you look at the Danglers, by the way, I think they swept that series with the waiver, by the way. I think that happened. But you got Tom FTW, you got Ozzy. Both those guys are actually averaging around 2 points a game. I was surprised to see that. So it's a team that's putting the puck in the net. They are giving up a lot of goals, but you got Colin Ellie on the back end. Edge is over there now. They got Lord, who seems like he's playing some defense. Coop. He's playing some forward. He's averaging a little under 2 a game. And then it looks like Gunny's been strapping the pads of late. So when you look at this team, like, it's not really jumping off the page. You can see potentially why they've struggled. But it seems like they may or may not have started to figure this thing out. So, Agent, I'm going to ask, because it's just a team that hasn't got a lot of attention over the last couple of weeks. Is this team someone that could potentially make a run here and try and get into the couple last playoff spots?
I definitely think that they can. I was just, when you kept talking about the names, not that it's really appropriate, but like the band of misfits is kind of like what popped in my mind, because it's not anybody sticks out on the team. I mean, yeah, they got some big name players, but they're all kind of people that have always been role players on different teams, besides 2 individuals probably. But they're kind of figuring out, maybe they've been playing together enough and get some practice games in and get some chemistry going. They've been stringing together some victories and picking up points. I mean, obviously that's what it comes down to when there's 14 teams, only 8 spots are going in. You got to fight to get your right there. So I think they're on the verge of doing that. I've heard.
Did you just quote a Beastie Boys song?
I didn't try to.
Did Fight for Your Right? Did that just happen or no?
It happened, but I didn't think about it until you just said it. But
it wasn't on purpose, though, right?
No, it was not until you said it, and I was like, yeah, okay.
I said no.
Fair.
So, yeah. Anyway,
what do you do? But no, I mean, I think I've heard people throw around that the strength of schedule thing right there that they've been playing has played a factor in it, which I don't know if that's totally true or not. But I think they're a team that can make it, but they're gonna have to keep practicing, keep playing together, and get that chemistry as best as they can to obviously succeed.
Now, DJ, you've seen these guys as of recent. Tell me a little something. This is your centerman from last season on your team. Is this a team that you think legitimately could make a late run here, or is this maybe just kind of a nice little stretch?
I think this is a little stretch. I don't see this guy or these guys making playoffs. they may be one of the first few seeds that are out of the playoffs, but I don't see them making it. I mean, they swept us. Our team struggled all season. Obviously, it's just it's been one thing after another. So they swept us, and we really couldn't get much offense going, at least through game one. And it was a bit of a struggle, more so on our side. And then they went and they played, I think, who was it, C-Dub? They won 2-1 that series, or 3-0 that series, whatever it may be. And that shows a little bit of surprise. C-Dub had a pretty solid team. But I just, unfortunately, I don't see these guys really squeaking in. I think they're going to be one of the first couple teams on the outside looking in.
Cortez, man, what do you think about Walker, Texas, when you look the roster up and down? Is this a team that you could see making a run here, or is it just not really going to happen here?
I'm gonna go with DJ. I don't think it's really happening. I will say they did beat non-Kane Sensuals, but word around the league is that apparently that there's some locker room hostility going on with a certain specific someone on the team, and the players are not happy with how this player is playing. They feel that this player is ruining all aspects of their game, and it's deliberately being done. Not like Rule 1 worthy being done. It's just their play style, and he's been told that they want them to change it or him to change it, and he won't. I'm not gonna say the name, but either way,
I could probably fucking guess.
I mean, you could, and if you want to say it, be my guest. But I think it's just one of those rough nights for the Kane Sensuals, because they're a good team. Defensively, they're a great team. Offensively, they have the offensive talent too. But at the end of the day, I think the Walker Texas Danglers are they've been on a little bit of a streak just from some luck, maybe some bounces, maybe non-Kane didn't play well, maybe they played their best game they possibly could. I just don't think it's something that continues moving forward.
It's funny, man, because like the last couple of weeks, people have come on here and been like, "Oh, Dale's the rants and all that are so funny. Like, I'm glad that you're doing that." Like I wish I didn't have to. Like, I wish it wasn't a thing, because like we try so hard. We try so hard to keep the bullshit out. Like, and it's like people, oh man, it's infuriating, because like we're talking about Murph, right? That's who we're talking about. It's Murph, right? Like, being a piece of shit yet again. I think the most infuriating thing about the Murph bit is that like I very rarely attach my name to anybody at all. And I attached my name to him, and like he was great, and then like for some reason like flip switch, and then everything that anybody ever told me how he was in Moose or in MHL became true. I'm like, dude, there's no way. There's no fucking way, because of how I've interacted with this guy to this point. And then everything that I've heard is now coming through. And this started last year. And even now, just the way he makes subtle comments and different things like that. Like, dude, we leave everybody alone unless you're shitty. And apparently Murph is being shitty again. I don't have too much details on this, but to say and sit here and say that I would be shocked would be a lie. Because I'm not. I'm sure he doesn't even watch media anymore or anything like that. And if he does, I don't give a fuck. But, I mean, this guy is just causing problems. He caused problems on Kiki's team. He's causing problems on his team that's winning. He's playing – I've said it on this show. C-Dub is literally the nicest captain. Dude, the guy drummed me 4-1 in the playoffs last year. I've never been so un-emo losing a playoff series in 5 games than I did losing the C-Dub, because he's just so chill.
He really is the nicest guy out there. Like he might privately have his own thoughts, but he'll never ever be one of those guys to go hard at you in a party. If anything, if he's upset, he just mutes his mic and just lets it go. Like, he's never gonna go at you.
I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've never been like okay. Anybody who knows me, I'm like very competitive. I've never been that okay losing a 5-game series. It's never happened. Because he's just that nice of a dude. My stats were done instantly, because I'm like, I'm gonna make this guy wait. Done. I don't know what happened. I don't know what Murph's doing over there. I think Saney's come a long way. He's a guy that's gotten a lot of slack, but he's come a long way.
Supposedly, Saney does not want to play forward right now because Murph's on the forward line. Supposedly.
And there you go. I mean, BTW is a guy that's literally super chill. C-Dub is, again, cool as hell.
Chelsea, yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, fuck Chelsea. Is anybody to have a conversation with her? Cool as hell. And you got Tommy. who's like kind of like the goofball. Like he's just a cool dude. Like
He's Thomas
don't-
Billings.
He's Thomas Billings. I just don't understand how you can get in a situation like that and literally be that a cancer. It just doesn't make any sense. To say I'm shocked, no. But crazy. Fucking crazy, man. Jesus Christ. Anyways, shout out to the non-Kane Centrals. They played us great. They were tough. They were really, really tough. Moving along, because I'm sick of giving assholes time. Parity in the league, and this is the kind of the emergence of Walker. Texas Danglers really making this run here. I know that people got on kind of the parity and we're ruining things, and this is ruining this season and that. But if you look at it, man, realistically, with overtime losses, there are 9 teams with close to a 500 record. 9 teams that are really close to 500 records with overtime losses. To me, that kind of speaks volumes to how much everybody's beating up on each other and how much matchups have mattered this season. 15 teams are going to have weaknesses, whether it's a spot, whether it's a system, whether it's a thing. There's weaknesses on every team. Every team has, and now you could look and say, well, the in-betweeners and ChiliCon, like these teams are, drumming people. Peninsula Pirates are 16-8. They have minimal, weaknesses per se, but every team out there has weaknesses, and it's all about matchups. And I think that's the key word to take away from this, is that every team matches up with other teams different. So, for instance, Donnie's Diner, we lost the series to non-Kane Centrals, and it just they played really good D. We couldn't get things going. We had some luck in Game 3, but it was tight. So it was a series we didn't really win. We didn't have a chance to win. They outplayed us. And then you go on, and non-Kane Centrals loses to a Walker Texas Ranger team, or Danglers team, that was at the time had 5 wins. That's kind of a big deal for them, and it's a matchup. Maybe that was a tougher matchup for them. But Fergie, when I'm on here and I'm talking about these matchups, would you agree that that's kind of the biggest thing, is how teams match up against one another?
That, I would say, is a big portion of it. Another portion would say is adjustments. Teams need to be really on their toes to make a quick adjustment, second period, third period of the first game, to be ready to play against a team and incorporate it to stay competitive. I'll take our series last night against ChiliCon. I mean, first game, Captain Jelly sleeps through half the first game. Kudos to him. But we got drummed. I mean, we got shit on. It was 7-2 game, 7-1 game, something like that. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to play. And then Game 2, Jelly came back, and I mean, I'll give him props. Brick kind of took over, and I mean, he did his thing. He did his, this is what we're gonna do. Give me the puck. We're gonna control the game, play really slow, because that ChiliCon team is fast. I mean, they move the puck fast, they score fast, and they don't fuck around. I mean, they're all good. And when we slowed the puck down, it slowed the entire game down. We got luck. I mean, we got lucky. I think we had a few more opportunities, but we won Game 2 1-0. And then Game 3 against them, it was really a 2-1 game all series until the last few minutes. We kind of went on full attack trying to get a game-tying goal, and they scored a third goal. But, I mean, it's just totally changing your game plan and adjusting. You need to be able to play differently against every team and be ready, and honestly do a little studying on your teams you're going to play against, because that would help you a ton.
What do you think, DJ? Like, again, like you've had a rough season. You guys are grinding out there, but obviously, like, you beat a Donnie's Diners team. So that might have been a favorable matchup for you guys at the time. How important is it? Is like, just because you're 4-12-3 or whatever the record is, I don't know. Sometimes teams just match up better against others. What would you attest to the parity of the league this season?
Yeah, I'll agree. I think matchups are a big thing. I'll use ChiliCon Carnage as an example as well. That was a close series for us, and we took them to overtime, I think, in 2 games there. And we're a team that's been consistently on the bottom of the league basically since day one. I can count maybe on one hand games that have gotten out of hand where we've had no control, where it's been 4, 5, 6 goal deficit between what they've scored and what we scored. But all of our games, even though we're losing a lot, but all these games have been relatively close, 1 goal, 2 goal games. I think it's bounces. I think it's the adjustability on teams to, like Adrian said, kind of see how another team plays and react to it. Pogs' team is wicked fast, and they move the puck quickly. And you got Master America, you got Pogs, you got Surprise Me, you got Float, and they move the puck really well. They've obviously played together. They have that chemistry, but being able to react to that and kind of get in lanes and try and slow the game down was something that we worked on. And again, two games into overtime on a team that's sitting basically, I think they're second in the league right now, sitting up top versus the team that's been 15th all season. I think you can't really complain about parity all too much there.
Cortez, man, what do you think when it comes to league parity? What do you think the reason for it actually being as tight as it has been all season?
I think with the captains...
your camera's not on, right?
What?
Your camera's not on.
It's
on for me.
It's on for me. I was gonna say.
Is it?
On.
Yeah, I'm looking at myself right now.
Okay, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
It was froze on the picture of me, and I just clicked on it, and now you're good. Sorry, I'll just go fuck myself. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
I think with the certain captains selected, and I think with how long the draft is, and with how much separation there is between picks, I think it's really hard to get a stacked team. Now, I think the in-betweeners kind of got a little bit of we talked about the trades a while back with all the trades that happened. I think they were a little fortunate with some trades, and they put their team on top. Chile just has the same exact offense they had last season, so they're already familiar with each other with a strong defensive core with Bob that's playing great in net. You go to the Pirates, you got Dan, who got another offensive lineup with Burks coming back into the season and going a little bit later than maybe he normally should. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the league. It depends on where you're drafting, what you need, like what position you want to play as a captain. There's a lot of things that are really factoring into what your drafting of your team comes out to, and I think that's why there's a lot of parity in this league. I mean, you take our team, for instance, we have 3 guys up front, or 2 of you and I up front, who don't even play forward normally. We play defense or some other position. I just think everybody's kind of doing their role in the league. I think everybody's playing a good game. I think everybody's getting better. And I just think overall, the game is not helping anybody out. Like some games, some teams get some bounces. Some games, some teams don't. Things happen like that. And I think that this game being as broken as it is, I think it kind of evens up the playing field for everybody. And again, the draft plays its part, and who's on what team, of course, plays its part as well. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with how the league's playing out because realistically, the in-betweeners have a great roster, but somebody could beat them. Like, somebody could beat them in a series. Same thing with Chile. Same thing with the Pirates, and you continue to go down from there. So
and I think it's a really good point. I think if you look at the records, in-betweeners, Chile, and Pirates are all up there, and they're really getting after it. They're doing good. But does anybody really, in seasons past where we've looked at rosters and been like, holy crap, that team's really, really fucking good. Every team has holes this year. Every team has weaknesses this year. That's what happens when you have 15 teams. It makes it very difficult to have completely rounded teams. There are weaknesses on every team. Obviously, the teams at the top are figuring out playing really well, but anybody's beatable. I think that's the biggest thing to take away from it. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and there's no clear-cut runaways despite what the records say, in my opinion. I think you brought up a good point again, Cortez. The game, we all know that the connections haven't been great, but on this show, we haven't talked about it because 95% of the league is experiencing.
Everybody's having the problem, yeah.
We're all having the same issues for the most part. And the small percentage of people who aren't, power to you. But everybody's having issues. So it's really easy for me to come on here. Sorry, my alarm went off for some reason. It's really easy for me to come on here and sit here and say, oh, this team's doing this because I know they've been having issues with connection. We've all been having issues with connection. So to sit here and say, well, that's the reason, I mean, it's not fair. It's not just. It's kind of like Kyle blaming connection for shit goaltending play. All the Limes having the same issues. He's stopping pucks better than anybody in the league. So really, and he was on the same team as you, buddy. So again, we could sit here and make built-ins for days, but the connections haven't been great. They haven't been clean. But again, we got to work through it. You got to battle through it. It's unfortunately sickly what it is right now. But again, I think parity in the league. Shout out to the Bro Show, man. I was on there last week. If you haven't listened, go give it a listen. But 2 weeks ago, they blamed the trades for fucking up parity within the league. And although some teams did get a little bit stronger, I still don't think there's a runaway team. And I think there's more parity than those guys are giving credit for. I went on there and kind of talked with them about it a little bit on Sunday. But yeah, so when you look at the standings, you look at the roster, there's a lot of teams that could fall in. There's a lot of teams that could fall out. So again, I think parity within the league has actually been really good.
Well, something to say about the Bro Show quickly. So my name was brought up for that word association thing, and it was like EA, and somebody said I think he changed his name because of EA goals. No. All of my branding throughout like Twitch and stuff has always been for like since like 2012 Cortez EA, and it's just because I like to play the EA games. Like that's why I did it. So when I officially was done doing my stuff with Dare that I was doing, I just changed my gamer tag to what I had all my branding as. So just wanted to clear that up. But anyway, continue.
Well, there you go.
Likely story.
There you go. So he's got that all figured out.
Yep.
Malkin scored, by
what
the
does
way,
it say?
Love the
Penning
what?
spots a loose puck and buries a cross-crease goal.
Yeah.
Saw
Same,
that
man.
pop up on the phone. What's the
Sec-
score?
I
What'd
did.
you- What's the score?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the score? Malkin
Yeah.
scored, so I'm assuming
It's
that
2-1.
Pittsburgh is up.
It's 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was a hard fought goal. The puck was on the line again. Malkin came in and swung his stick and got it in.
He must not have
What's
just heard
it like-
everything I just said. Yeah. He's,
What's it like to just be perpetually bounced in the second round? Every
Hey,
year?
It really sucks, but it's better than getting bounced in the first round.
touche.
Hey, man. You're just going to the same spot.
And then it's better. Then
Don't
it's
matter.
better to not make the playoffs at all. Daily.
Dude, I got 3 cups in 10 years. So
Hey, it's all right with me. Spoken
And
like
the
a
difference
spoken like
between
a
the Bla- the
spoken
difference
like a
between the Blackhawks
Habs
and they
fan and a
finished.
Yankees fan, and spoken like every other fan.
Oh,
It's all
my.
right. Listen,
it
no,
like-
I can't back them up. I can't back up the Capitals.
Hey,
It's okay. They
what's it
fucking suck
like-
in the second round.
Knowing that you are complete misery, that the team that you root for is complete misery. The Nationals are the same way. They get bounced in round 1 every year because they are the Washington Nationals. The Capitals lose every year in round 2 because they are the Washington Capitals. Explain to me, the Wizards, every single year, they are what they are. Explain to me what it's like being miserable
It
every
sucks.
single day of your
It
life,
sucks.
rooting for every miserable team in the world.
sucks.
Mr. Cortez.
It sucks.
Thank you.
The Patriots normally make up for it, so that's why I don't get too mad.
So,
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
listen,
You're a
man.
Patriots fan?
I'm not
What
even.
is
I'm
this?
not touching that.
I'm
I'm
upset
not
with this.
even touching that. That's like Thomas Billing picking his sports teams. It's like throwing
Yeah, he's throwing
darts,
fucking darts
at
at
a
a
U.S. map and hoping that it hits on a
No,
good team.
I told
It
you.
always hits
I've
on a
told you
good
before.
team.
I have told you before. I'm a Boston fan in everything but hockey, and I cannot like the Boston Bruins. I hate them, so I just won't.
Charlie
That's why I picked
McAvoy,
another
man.
team.
That's all I'm going to
I like
Just
Charlie
look at him.
McAvoy.
He's a fucking stud.
I like Charlie McAvoy. I just still dislike the
I
rest of the team.
I bought a fucking Charlie McAvoy shirt this weekend when I visited USA.
Well, see, I like him because he played with my
It's
boy
great.
Jordan Greenway. I like him. He's a good player. I just don't like the rest of the Bruins.
Ugh,
Sorry to hear that, man.
listen,
I'll see you on the golf course in a week, man.
True,
Yeah.
true. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, with Wilson out now, yeah, you probably will.
If Tom Wilson is the reason that you are losing a playoff series,
You
you
know
have
how
bigger
much he adds to
You're
that team?
fucking
You know how much he adds to that team, man? If you
Oh
really
my
don't know
God.
it, don't even say shit about the series.
Sick hymns.
If Tom Wilson is the reason you are losing a playoff series, you are fucked to begin with, Cortez.
Fact.
Are you serious? You cannot be serious. Do you know what he brings to the game? I don't give a fuck. If he is the
Tom
reason that you
Wilson,
are losing
man.
playoff series, then you are fucking high.
Hold
He's not the reason. Yes, he may be a presence. Yes, he may bring some grit. Yes, he may bring a big illegal check.
He's on the
to
first
jog that
line.
poor Penguins
That was a
man.
legal hit. That was a legal hit. 100%.
But if he's the reason you're losing, you are fucked. You are fucked. Anyways,
he's a guy on the first
to
line. What
get
you mean?
back to 239. Your team is a mess. I want to talk about all the reschedules and what the hell is going on with that. And it sounded
Hey, I
negative
got
when
dip.
posted it, but it's actually
He's got a dip. He's got practice. He's got practice. We got to let him dip.
Dude, I'm getting
What's it like
back to-
playing on an
They've
Olympic
got
team?
practice.
Listen, man, I'm glad that Jelly runs a tight ship over there. That you guys need fucking practice,
doesn't.
but sleeps through game one. Agent, go ahead,
I was
man.
gonna say,
Good
I
luck
can
out
tell you
there,
it's
dude.
Definitely not Jelly. It's Captain Brick. in
It's
the
Captain Brick.
background.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It is, and I get it.
Why
man.
doesn't
I get it.
he ever captain? Like, why doesn't he just captain instead of
what
like
I
running a
asked him.
team?
Oh,
He's playing
because
chess,
Brick
man.
would have
Give
no
him a
fucking.
fucking
Like,
break.
Alex, you and I, man, we're good. Like, we're good. but don't captain. Don't ever captain. I'm going to tell you why. Because, dude, we have so many people quitting this motherfucker. We won't know what to do with our lives. So
He
just
won't have a team.
keep
He'll
on
be playing
keeping
by
on.
himself.
Keep on being that number 2, that assistant captain, man. That's great. That works. But if Brick City were in charge of a team, dude, that whole team would quit, yo. I'm just being real. And
Yeah,
he's a
boys.
great fucking player. He's a great player. But, man, some people can't handle that. Like, they just can't handle that. He's not mean. He's not rude. He's
He's
honest.
just straightforward. He's just
He's straightforward. And some people can't take that. They can't take that. So, anyways, man, so Brick's running the tight ship over there. So, because,
So
Jelly's
parody or
sleeping.
reschedules?
We got
Jelly's
a new,
sleeping through
we
game
got a new
one.
lineup. We got to test it out.
Oh, I got a new lineup. That's cool. Yeah, go ahead.
What's the new lineup, agent?
Do you remember the night, Dales? Do you remember the night
yeah.
that we had BBX traded to us? We didn't even practice before our first series, and we swept Yam. We didn't even try our new lineup yet.
That's
Wait,
because
hold on.
Yam's
You said
team
you swept
is
who?
a mess.
We swept Yam's team. They're in like fourth place.
Okay, that's it. We'll leave it right there. Thanks. Bye.
They're in like fourth or fifth place.
Okay. All
Thanks
right.
for the series
So,
last week.
shout out to Brick
Appreciate it.
City because he's still my guy. Agent, go fucking practice so I don't have to
Series
hear it, man.
next
Just
week.
get out of here. Go do the bit. We'll take it from here. But the reason I wanted to bring up the reschedules is shout out to all the captains that have been helping Dolly out with the reschedule. Shout out to Dolly's team. He's been going through some stuff lately, some personal things that I don't need to air out here. But shout out to all the guys in the league. This is what makes 239 great. Obviously, we all want to play our series. We want our two series a week. But helping each other out is a big thing. So as much like negative stuff that I've touched on early in the show, I'm like, I really do hate doing that. But like as much as I hit that, like this is kind of a big thing. So shout out to everybody who's been working with Dolly. He's been going through a really, 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 really rough time. So shout out to him. I hope he's feeling better. Hope he's getting there. But man, shout out to everybody who's been helping him out. Shout out to Dolly's team, man. You guys have been troopers. Everybody's been great over there. So yeah, so shout out to Dolly, man. We've missed him on the show last couple weeks too. So hopefully he'll be okay here soon to get back on and get after it with us. So again, thanks to all the captains who've been helping him. I think that kind of speaks volumes to what we're doing in the league. We're always thinking about the other guys for the most part, most of us. And the fact that it's the captains, the people representing us, representing the teams, representing the league, I think is really big. So I'm happy to see that. So shout out to Dolly, shout out to those captains, shout out to his team. Shout out to everybody involved. So get better, Dolly, and hopefully we'll see you back soon. Okay. These are just kind of this is something that's been getting brought up a lot, and it's been like jabs and ribs and different things like that. Why are stats so important, right? Like why are stats being in so important?
Is this directly going off of the Murph and Mac North thing, or?
No, like people have been kind of taking shots as to why stats are important. So I'm gonna give the reality of why stats are important for me. I guess this is a semi rant. I've had people after every one of these shows, every single one of these shows, I get people who G-chat me. Say, Daly, thank you so much for doing the show. Show was great. Loved every second of it. The media is a huge reason why I'm here. You guys do a great job. We love watching it. This isn't like some arrogance thing. I'm just telling you what the community is
I never
telling
get
me.
those messages.
The community is telling me how much they're enjoying the product and the things that we're doing. Now, how many of you have been in this league for 5 seasons? Raise your hand. Okay, so we're all raising our hand at home, like we're doing the whole bit, like, oh, teacher called on me. Let me get my hand up.
I'm not
cool.
raising my hand.
Thick. Awesome. Do you guys probably remember then I used to do prediction threads 2 to 3 times a week? Everybody raise your hand if you remember those. Those are pretty cool, right? Everybody enjoyed those. A little matchup, little breakdowns. Shit was sick. It's tough to do that when shit's not updated. It's tough to bring you guys the best content out there when the stats aren't up to date, when the rosters aren't up to date, when those things aren't in. It makes it difficult for me to do my job. And all that ends up happening is that I put out this article that has all these grammatical errors in it, yet awesome knowledge. And people just shit on it because they're like, well, that's not true. My stats aren't updated, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not my fucking fault. I'm going on the site and what we have and what we do. So I'm here trying to and the media team are trying to give you guys an experience unlike any other. Do they do this in LG? No. Do they do this in MHL like we do here? No, they don't. Do they have consistent shows every week? No. 2 of them? No. 3 of them? No, they don't. Do they have articles in the forums? No. Do they have power rankings in the forums? No. We try to make the experience so engaged, but in order to do that, we need captains to be on their shit, and it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. And we haven't even said shit about the write-ups, which have seen a decrease. You know, I want people on the forums. I want people engaged. I want people in the chat box. And guess what? Articles, write-ups, these are all power rankings. These are all ways to get people in the forums and talking. You know, because at the end of the day, yeah, we're still a community. That's a great way for us to communicate. It's through the website, which Pixel's done a great job with. So when you ask me, or you arrogantly say to me, oh, it's not a big fucking deal. Like, it is. To me, it is. It is to me, because I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time doing this. So it is a big fucking deal to me. And I like the stats to be in so I can give you guys the best product. I haven't done a prediction thread all season because the stats aren't right. The schedule's not right. People are doing reschedules and not posting it. Like, I can't do it. I can't give you guys that content when it's not being done. We as a media team can't give you guys that extra. We can't go above and beyond when you aren't doing your due diligence. I can't do mine. So that's, to me, why stats are so fucking important. And when I have somebody who will come to me like a Murph and say, oh, well, you're not a good player. Oh, if you don't do your fucking stats, they hate you. It's like, well, dude, you're hindering the experience. I went and put your fucking stats in so that I could give the rest of I'm not going to punish the rest of the league because you don't want to do your stats or because you got arrested. You know, I want to give everybody that experience. So that's why I do it. So, like DJ, like, I mean, we're not like, and I hate to throw you on it because you're an admin too, but we're not like, we don't ask a ton. Like, get your stats in within 24 hours, man. It's great for the shows. It gives us up-to-date shit. Like, is that too much to ask? I don't think it is.
No, it's simple, man. Half the time, captains are playing more hockey or fucking PUBG or Fortnite or something like that after the series anyway. Like, 9 times out of 10, they're not going right to bed. Take fucking 10 minutes. Stats are stupid simple to enter. Take 10 minutes to just do your stats real quick after the series, bang it out, and call it a day. It's too easy.
Cortez, you haven't captained yet, man, but you've done a lot of media. How hard is it for us to, you know, put out this product when the shit's not up to date?
I can only imagine. Like, when we did 239 tonight, one of our main things was because we were on a Monday, we predicted all the series for the week. So, like, we tried to do as much as we could, and we recapped, like, the series before. I can only imagine what kind of mess it is this season with all the reschedules, the stats not being put in properly, stupid things like that. Plus, I mean, luckily, Hansel Roberto, whether that be Steven, Ability, Daly himself, Jim Flanagan, whoever it may be, continuously posts on their Twitter to post some prediction threads. And that's what they do at least. So at least there's something made up for. But it's probably a straight mess to do. So I'm happy that I don't have to do that anymore.
Oh God, Schwatz. I'm gonna literally bust out Schwatz right now for being an arrogant prick. Yeah, we're not talking because we talk about your team. We talk about your team every fucking week. We get it. You got 90 points. Congratulations. You're killing it right now. You're averaging well over 3 points a game. You are absolutely destroying it. You are the sickest NHL player ever. But we're trying to not talk about the same teams every week. So we are trying to do other things. That is why I love you. But that is the reason. So shout out to you, Schwatz. You are the best. You have 90 points in 24 games. Congratulations. You are probably running away with the MVP. Gris is probably running away with the Calder. But we are trying to get some of the other teams involved. So I am sorry. I apologize. You are having a fantastic season.
Stay blessed, King.
Shout out to Schwatz, man. He's absolutely getting after it. He wanted his shout out. He needed his due. He needed it. He got it. You got it. Cool. I want to talk about guys, man, who were taken a little bit later in this last draft. This is an interesting topic that got brought up early. The admins were kind of talking about it. I want to talk about guys who were drafted late and have made early season contributions. Like a guy who was drafted maybe in round 5, but has been producing like a guy drafted in round 2 or 3. So some examples of this. Flowed. Is that his name? Flowed?
Yeah.
Flowed, right? Like, if there's one thing you can count on me fucking up every week is that man's name. Well, Flowed was drafted in round 3, which, in my opinion, absolutely criminal. I said it last year. I thought he was a really tough matchup for me on right D. He's very shifty. He's good with the puck. He's quick with the puck. It was always like a battle him and I used to have, and I love that. I love when players make me think and don't just like fucking skate like stupid and make it easy on me. So this guy's got 54 points in 24 games. He's absolutely getting after it right now. He's playing ridiculously good puck. And he was a guy drafted in round 3, but he's producing at that of a top 10 scorer. I think he's tied for 9th with Jelly right now. So he's a guy that is literally, holding his own on offense. Like, yes, Surprise Me is up there in points. Yes, Pogs is up there in points. But Float is a guy that was drafted in round 3, and he's proven that he can be an offensive threat. He was an offensive threat last year. He's been an offensive threat this year.
Well, is he getting so many points because of Pogs and Surprise Me? Because we know that duo always brings in points.
Well, Surprise Me is one of those guys that's always going to be higher, so I get that. And my focus isn't on him. He does have a lot of points. Pogs and Pogs and Float are pretty close. Pogs is always drafted as a late first round, early second talent. I know he's captain the last 2 seasons, but he's that kind of player.
Yeah.
So for me, Float going in round 3, I think it was a little late. I think he's a round 2 talent. Some may even argue late round 1. But what do you think, DJ? Do you like Float's game? Is this a guy that you really, really like the way he plays?
Yeah, I enjoy playing against him. He's a player that, with me playing in net, makes me think about stuff. There are some shooters where I know they're going to try the same fucking thing every time, and it's super easy to predict, and it hardly ever works. And then there are guys that are really shifty with it that make you think, are they going to wrap? Are they going to go low? Are they going to pass? Are they going to shoot? And that makes the game fun when you're able to play against somebody and not know their next move all the time. It's fun to be able to sit back and actually have to think about stuff for a little bit.
Another name, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's a battle where you're like, this guy always keeps me guessing. That's what makes some of the greats great. Another name I want to throw on this list is Revelations. And Bailey, you know a little bit about this guy. This guy he's got 48 points in 27 games, which doesn't seem like crazy. It's almost a little under 2 a game, but this is a guy drafted in round 5. And he's currently almost sitting in the top 15 in points. Is this a guy that was probably taken a little too late? And I think moving forward, you probably won't see this guy getting drafted in round 5.
Yeah, he was definitely taken too late, and it's because of what happened last season with Swag's team, with Thug getting his Xbox Rule 1ing himself, and then somebody got Rule 1'd on the team, right? Or did they quit?
No, the
Hockey
Swag's
Kid there. Yeah, his dad took away his Xbox, whatever it was.
Swag's friend couldn't play anymore too, so that team just kind of started off really badly.
Yeah, okay, I remember now. So I think with their team plummeting, his name was attached to that team, and I think that's why his draft stock dropped. And I mean, now if obviously you look at it, you're going to see that he's not that kind of player. He's better than that. I mean, the only bad part about him is that he's a Pittsburgh fan, but other than that, good hockey player.
Here's another name here too. BBX90. He was a guy that was drafted almost at the end of round 5 by Kinky. Was playing defense over there, a little bit of offense. Gets traded to Donnie's Diner. He's got 46 points in 24 games, averaging almost 2 points per. To me, no bias, because I mean, obviously I'm playing with him, so there might be a little bias, but this is a guy that was drafted way too late. This is a guy that'll probably end up going in the 3rd, 4th round moving forward, maybe even earlier. I don't know. He's good with the puck. He's shifty. What do you think, Deej? A guy like BBX getting drafted, way too late?
Yeah, he was one of 2 that I had that went later. I think he's producing, and I think round 5 is super late on him. I think probably closer to a round 3 if anything. But he was one of 2. The second one was Peaceful Bob. Now this is the first goalie that we're going to talk about, but he went the second to last pick in round 5, and he's playing super well right now. Sitting on Pogs' team, which is second or whatever it is, and he's really turned his game around. I think he's finally found the position that he knows he's going to be able to play. When he first came in, he was kind of in and out of waivers and wasn't really playing all too often. He had a couple of stints on defense, and then he was kind of thrown into net. And I know the feeling of just getting shamed into net, because Yam did the same thing to me. He shamed me in the net, and now here I am, right?
I know the feeling as well.
Once you find that niche and you're able to actually compete and hold your own in net, with the scarcity of people that actually want to play goalie in this league, you become that much more valuable. And I think getting him in round 5 is too much, in my opinion. Most goalies are going to end up going in round 4 or sooner. Round 5 was just absurd.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think Bob over the last 2 years has really come into his own. And Pogs realizes that and recognizes that, and they all seem to be on the same page.
Last season and this season, he's been his goalie both times.
And they got Bomber and Master America back there. They got a good defense. The layers are really nice on this team. It kind of allows Surprise Me to be a loose cannon. That's why the team's done so good. I want to shift gears here. I want to talk about guys maybe that were taken a little bit too early. And I want to start with this name right here.
Cortez EA.
Stealth Luca D. Now, again, it's how you gauge production. It's how you gauge value. Now, this guy was taken number 1 overall. He's got 40 points in 24 games, averaging about 1.75 a game. But it's some of the intangibles that really have always made Luca valuable, from his face-offs to his defense to his playmaking ability. It's an esoteric team, man, and esoteric teams just happen to play really solid D. They have the best goaltender stats in the league right now, and that's a big part Lime. It's a big part Team D. But is Stealth Luca a guy that's historically been taken number 1? Was he taken a little too early, Cortez? It's so weird because, like, you can't go wrong picking Luca in the top 5, but, I mean, by the numbers, was that too early?
Okay, so I've always had my own opinion on the first overall pick. I don't think it always is the same person that should be picked number 1. Instance being, like, Dan is considered the best forward in the league, but it depends on if you merge with Dan's style. Maybe you want Regretskis. Maybe you want a defenseman. Maybe it all depends on what you want as your first pick. And I know who was captaining everything. I get that's why Luka was taken first. No shots at him. Great center, can win the draw, can play defensively. I just think the play styles have to match. I think Esso is familiar with it. And I mean, he's a common first overall kind of guy, especially when these other people are already captaining. So I get it. I think a little bit more production needs to come from the first overall person in this draft. No matter the intangibles, he can be a great 200-foot center. So isn't Hugh Laurie. Like, he can win the draws. So can't Hugh Laurie. The difference between the two, I get Luka's got more playmaking ability, but Luka should be getting a lot more points. Let me tell you this. Cortez EA, first-time full-time forward in this league, has 46 points in 24 games. And Luka has 40, I think, in 24 games. So something's got to step it up for him. I'm not. That's not me to brag about. I'm just using it as the example. Like, I'm not great. Trust me, nowhere near it. I don't think I am. Just throwing it out there.
Now, I think people would really be quick to jump on a name like Cosmic Fade, but it simply hasn't played enough games. You know, he's got 2 points per game. They played 18. So Cosmic's off the hook right now. I do want to slide down a little bit and talk about this player who, I'm super high on, and that is Hockey Town, Mr. Russell. He is, to me, the best 200-foot player. He's playing center for Thamps, and it's showing. He's just playing that 200-foot game. He's got 36 points in 27 games for a guy that was originally drafted, I think, 7th overall or something, maybe 9th. I forget the number exactly.
Whatever Yam was, that's where he went.
Yeah, people would argue that is a down season. But if you look what he does to that Tide Pod team, he is as close to a King Rome comparison. I think Kayla would agree with me.
That's exactly what I was actually going to say if you were going to pass it over.
Yeah, he is as close to King Rome as it gets. And I actually think, and this is not a shot at Rome, I think Russ is a little bit better offensively than Rome is. And Rome has never been a guy that's finished in the top points, but he's always been a guy that's drafted in the top 10. And I think Russ is in that very same category. If you're asking me the best 200-foot player in the league, it's going to be him, based on all the skill sets and everything like that. So I'm a little biased here, so I'm going to send this off. But as Hockey Town at 9, would you consider that to be too early, DJ, or is that, a comfortable number? And he's just, again, he's just that kind of player.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say just because I've never actually played with him before. I don't think I've actually ever even been in a party with him before, let alone played hockey with him. But I've heard nothing but good from everyone who has played with him. And getting a comparison to someone like Rome brings nothing but good behind your name. Rome, I had him last season. He was here. and he was steadfast on my team. We kind of were struggling, and then we moved him up the center, and his two-way game was unreal, and it helped turn our team around. And if you have someone like Russ who's able to do that same thing, sure, the points may not be a super amount like Schwartz or someone like that, but those intangibles, that 200-foot play, the face-off and possession, the defensive abilities, that stuff all is key in a game like this where you need a center that can do that 200-foot game. You can't have a center roaming because that leaves a slot wide open and you get killed every time with that. But if you have someone that can play that good 200-foot game, I think the intangibles on it are good enough to outweigh any lack of points that are being scored.
And Kayla's right on it with the +1, so she's obviously listening. Shout out to Rev Hellcat. She gets it, man. Like, he's that kind of player. And when you draft a team, if you're somebody who drafts around having that 200-foot player, I guess the biggest gripe on him would be his face-off ability, but he seems to be doing okay this year.
I was going to say, he did just fine in it when he played against us.
He gets it, man. He understands it. He understands the grips. He understands the ties. Defensively, you're getting. So, again, the offensive production, they're getting enough out of Wizzy War, which is the next name I'm going to bring up here. And they're getting enough production out of Thamps. You have two, good offensive minds on the back end, and Odd and Kayla. And this is a team that can really go. And Middle's been playing really good in net. So this team is definitely a team that could surprise some people. And I think Russ is a big part of that, although the production on offense, in this situation, it doesn't tell the whole story. In the Lucas situation, it also doesn't tell the whole story. I want to talk about Wizzy War, man, because Wizzy War's kind of had a crazy year, man. He went, what did he go? 17th overall, 16th overall?
14th.
Oh, 14th. Shit.
He was the second to last pick in the first round.
So welcome to round 1, Wizzy. So that happened. So he was pick 14. And everybody hated that pick. I think Wizzy hated that pick. As a guy who I forget how Wizzy broke in. I don't know if he was a Hollywood guy.
He was a pale guy.
He was a pale guy. Okay,
he was on season 4 for Old Dad Special. He was our extra, and then when Dank sat himself, he came in and played and got his first goal in the league in playoffs against. We were playing you for the boys there, and then the next season he got drafted to a pale team and went from there.
That was the year I won. It seems like so long ago.
It does.
It really does.
I don't miss
because,
it at all.
I just get bounced in the first round by Daniel Martin every year, like the Capitals. Every year.
Second round of the Penguins. But
can't beat them. I just can't fucking beat them.
They just lost the game. 3-1.
Oh, Capitals lost?
Yeah.
So that series is at deuces, right?
2-2, yep. Yeah. Going back to
I bet if Tom Wilson was there, they would have fucking won.
Oh, they would have won by 6.
Probably 7. Probably 7. Let's Tom
Wilson,
give a little more credit.
The game changer.
I hope I'm not in an Xbox party with you in 17 minutes. I hope I'm not. That's too
much. Fucking Tom Wilson.
So the next name, like I said, Wizzy War. This is a guy I think we can all agree he probably went a little too early, but he's making the best of his situation. He got over with Thamps over there. That team is really clicking. I mean, they were a team that were on struggle bus. I think Thamps had a miserable fucking draft. And I love Dustin. Dustin is like the guy who broke me into online hockey, by the way. Or Thamps, sorry. Thamps is the guy who broke me into online hockey. He found me in a drop-in game and was like, dude, join this league. And he was the one. So I've known Thamps for 10 years. But he had a miserable fucking draft. Thamps, your draft was AIDS. However, Thamps did quite the number on trades. Even one that people thought he lost, the Hockey Town trade, giving up Shotgun and giving up Donnywood. People would argue that he actually lost that trade. But, man, Thamps knew what he was doing. He knew where his struggles were. He knew what he needed to do, and he got the players he needed to get. And Wizzy War is a big part of that. Wizzy War is the guy that quietly can create a little bit of space. He plays good without the puck. He plays good with the puck, but he plays good without the puck. So I've been really, really surprised with him. They just have a really good 5-man unit. So, yes, I think we can all agree Wizzy was drafted a little bit early. But at the same time, he's made the best of the situation and found himself over on Thamps' team and is having quite the season. So shout out to him. This is a name we're not used to talking about in this manner. And I brought her up on the Bro Show. Sea-Doo, 77. Now, people would argue she has entered that. It's tough because I captain a lot. But when I don't captain, if I play D, generally going in the top 5 as a defenseman is tough. Drug Monkey feels the same way, and going in those spots as a defenseman, it's tough when you are somebody's first pick. And Dub, who's also really good at D, drafts Chelsea first. He's playing D right now, so his first pick was a defenseman. They have their struggles with offense and scoring and different things like that. Yes, they went out and got Saney. Dub did really good in the trades too, but the original roster makeup, there was a bit of a struggle there offensively. So I bring up this point. Now, this isn't specifically Chelsea. We're not going to talk about just Chelsea, but are we starting to see a trend of taking defensemen in the top 5 or 6 maybe isn't always the best pick, because the contributions that you get from a defenseman, besides shutting maybe one side of the ice down, they're never going to put up the points that you expect. The Brick City season where he's a fourth forward, that's an exception to the rule because that's a different formula. That's not your traditional 3 forwards, 2D. Brick was very much heavily involved in all aspects of the offense. You almost treat, yes, he wasn't like abandoning D, but you're treating him as a fourth forward. There was a lot of pressure on Odd Guy in that season 5 to be that good defensively. That won't ever happen again. It's just not going to happen. Even this year, Brick's playing defense. It's not happening. So I'll send it to you, DJ. As a captain, taking a D-man in the top 5, 6, 7 picks, there's a lot of risk in that. And to me, being a defenseman, I almost don't see the reward because at the end of the day, you got to put pucks in the net to win the game.
Yeah, I think if you're an elite forward, I think you can get away with it. If you're someone like D-Mart or you're someone like Brian Regretskis, if you're someone with the skill set of one of those guys, I think you can afford to get away with getting a lockdown D-man early on. But if you're someone who's not in that elite tier, but if you're in that good tier, I don't see a defenseman going that early as helping you. You need that number one guy on offense to create those points. You can be lockdown D all season long, but if you're not scoring goals, it's not going to matter. SO's team is struggling right now. They're great defensively, but you have number 1 overall Luka, and the points aren't being produced. And you see that often where teams lock down D, but then they don't have any forward production. And I don't know if you can really justify that unless you're one of those elite forwards that can really create the space for yourself. For 2, I guess, lower tier forwards to play with you.
What do you think, Cortez? Is taking an elite defenseman, and you've never captained, so it's tough, and you're a guy who plays multiple positions. You're actually one of the exceptions to the rule potentially as a captain here and get away with this, but is taking an elite D in the top 6, 7 picks more of a risk than any reward?
I'll say the same thing DJ said. If you're an elite player, then by all means, if you want to get that elite defenseman to kind of help solidify both ends, and by all means. But I know when I spoke to Dub before the draft, his plan was for him to play forward and then get that lockdown defenseman in the back. That because unless you have, like, if you don't have Sea-Doo, you don't have Drug Monkey, you don't have X Daily, there aren't defensemen that compare to it. I know someone like Brick may not like to hear that, or other defense, because there's different aspects of different games, but it's just the defensive aspect of the individual. And I think Dub's intention was, and Dub's a great forward. He can be that playmaker guy. He can bury the puck if he needs to. He may not be like that elite talent, but he can definitely do it. And I think his plan was to play forward, get Chelsea to be be the defensewoman for his team, and draft the rest of his team from there. And I think as the draft went on, again with this whole parity thing we talked about earlier, he went with who was available, who would work where, and that's what ended up putting him back at defense. And I mean, I did tell him before the draft, I was like, you should draft a forward. But, like, I understand if you do a defenseman. I was expecting Dan, out of all people, to take Drug Monkey there at number 5, knowing that Dub was taking Sea-Doo at 4. I think that's how it went. It was 4-5. But then Daniel Martin, D-Mart, the best forward in this league considered, goes and takes a center with Welcome to the Web. So, I mean, you never know who's going to do what. It really just depends on your style, who you are, where you play, and the whole draft itself.
I think you hit the nail on the head with Dub taking the best person available, because he's got that luxury of being able to play forward and defense effectively. So that strategy of being able to take the best person available and still being able to fit whatever mold you need is a win-win for him.
Well, I again, it's tough, but I think you guys bring up good points of like elite forwards taking, but here's the thing. So that elite forward then has to have a pick within the top 5, 6, or 7. There, and then here's another issue: it's guys valuing themselves a certain way, right? Like the way that I don't know, say like ability, the way ability values himself, say as like a forward. Let's say ability is a forward, and ability values himself as like a round 2 forward, right? Let's say that in his mind, that's where he's at. So he goes out and takes Drug Monkey at 4 because he's like, okay, I'm a round 2 guy. I'll get another forward in round 2, and we'll have all. That's potentially where the parity thing comes into play, is how we evaluate ourselves as captains. And that's tough for people to do sometimes because they say, okay, you got to look yourself in the mirror. It's like, realistically, where would I get drafted? Where would I go in this draft? I always ask, say, where would I go in this draft? And understanding your own value, and it really does help in building teams. You know, for instance, if I say, okay, if I'm looking at a draft on a personal level, and I say, okay, there's like 4 or 5 guys that I would take in the first round, and if I don't have pick 5, that's a tall tale sound for me that I got to get out. I got to get out of the first round, and I got to build from the second on. But it really depends on who's captaining that season, different things like that. So it makes it, there's a lot of variables that play in. Ultimately, in a perfect world, first round talents, if everybody captain, would make for the most competitive fucking season ever. Could you imagine, like, guys who've been historically first round picks, if Luca and Drug Monkey and Sea-Doo and X Daily and, you know,
D-Mart
and everybody who's gone in round 1 historically. Imagine if all those
top 10 of round 1 consistently.
Let's say they all captain.
Yeah.
Now you have guys who've never been drafted round 1 are now the first round picks. It changes the game, and you have all these really good players building teams around themselves. Like, it's not like Dub building a team around Chelsea. It would be Chelsea building a team around Chelsea. It's not Figo building a team around Brick. It's Figo's a first rounder in his own right, but it'd be Brick building a team around Brick, or Drug building a team around Drug, or D-Mart building a team around D-Mart. That changes the game. No Regretskis building a team around No Regretskis. If you had all of that in one season,
you'd have a very competitive season. I think that would be the most parity possible. Because you just have all that talent everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, and those players are building around themselves. So for me, when I look at it, that I would love to see that. I challenge anybody who. That's why I said put your name down for captain, different things like that, because that would make for the most crazy experience ever. And I mean that. It would be ever. So we're up against it here. 7 minutes till series. We're going to do the send-off here, man. We did a couple things. We didn't really talk about stats a ton. Like, we did a little bit with players, but, you know, we're digging down deep. A couple players I want to shout out. Shout out to Dominator Silva, new position. He's having a really good run at it this year. Shout out to Odd Guy, man. He's having a good season as well. You know, again, shout out to Nexus, man, over there. He hasn't played a ton of games because the cutie patooties have, you know, they've been on a couple buys. So shout out to him. Shout out to Pounders, man. Lee Barouche finally getting a run at a starter. I know he's not starting anymore, but he got a run. So shout out to him, man. You know, shout out to all these players. And obviously shout out to the guys in the top 10. You guys are all great. Dick lickers, sick. You're the best. I hate it. DJ, though, we're going to go once more around the horn, man. Do you want anything on a send-off here?
No, just wanted to say thanks for having me. It's always fun. It's always a good time to be on the show and to talk with everybody and hear different opinions. And just keep doing your thing, man.
Cortez, man, we got a big series. We're playing Daniel Martin tonight. I was just saying I can't fucking beat him, so that's probably misery. You ready for the night, though, man?
Dan, if you want to trade for me before the series, that's fine. Just let Mac know. I don't want to be in a losing team if Daly says he can't beat you. I already don't like the confidence, but either way. DJ, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. Thanks for showing up when everybody else who's supposed to be on the show doesn't show up. This is why Daly asked me to kind of start doing this role of this, so I'm happy to be here. Happy the show keep going. Daly, thanks for running this whole thing like you do. Did you notice anything specific about the graphic that's up on the stream? It's been there all stream.
Hold on.
You didn't notice it then. The last topic of discussion is Daly's a mess.
Is it?
He's just a fucking mess, okay, everybody? If you're not from 239, this man that has been the person that talks the most in this stream is a fucking mess.
Listen, though, I think the reality is people understand that. I truly am. a mess. I wake up every day, I roll out of bed, I look at myself in the mirror, and I realize that I am just that, a fucking literal mess.
So I need another phone call voicemail recording that I can listen to and just laugh at every time.
Hold on, man. I got a bunch of them.
Ask him about Manhattan, man.
Yeah, no, that's what
Where's
it's from.
Manhattan?
That's what it's from. That's what it's from.
Hold on, I get
Play
one
it
every
and send
day.
us out on it so we can head off and
How do you lock
get ready
the
for a
door?
series.
So here's the thing, man. We'll let Esso send us off the show. You know, as always, I appreciate everybody tuning in each and every week. So you know, again, thank you guys for coming in here, hanging out with us. I'm gonna do this. This was when they were trying to do the Elitist show the other week, and they couldn't sign into the 239 thing, and I was at work. So this was the message that I got from everyone's favorite Esso.
Listen, we're trying to start the fucking show. I know you're at work, but Sober's having an issue logging in on the Twitch. Also, I know you got the package that I sent you, and I just want to know what it's like being the biggest fucking faggot in the fucking world.
Shout out to Shock. Shout out to Shock. He's not talking about you. I don't know if you guys saw it last week. Or a couple weeks ago, I played one, and Esso called me a faggot. And Shock goes, "Was he talking about me?" I'm like, "No, he was talking about me. You're good." Shock's a big fan of the show. So yeah, that was an Esso rant, man. As always, I've got tons of them. I get one usually every day because I ghost him. I don't even answer his calls because he's that much of a dick. So I just don't answer him. So anyways, man, that's it. That's our show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Good luck to everybody in their series tonight. And we will be back here next week for another edition. Are we the longest episodic running show again?
Probably.
I feel like they've missed it.
If they missed that show, well, did they end up streaming on Sober's Twitch that week?
I don't know.
Then I don't know. We'll just.
I'm gonna have to do some research
we're
because this
both the
may very well be
the
longest running episodic show in 239 history. With that said, I'm X to the D to the A to the L to the Y. And we're out. Oh, no, I forgot to put bubbles.
Play it. Oh, you forgot the bubbles? Let's hear it.
What?
I
just did that. I don't think I can do guns on screen, right?
No, not that. I wanted the Asian roll.
Oh, no, you got to be on my team to get the Asian roll, man.
Okay. Well, I get it anyway. So
it's a team thing.
Thanks,
if
everybody,
you're on
for
my
joining
team,
us.
you get the Asian roll.
Thanks. Yeah, we got to head out of here. So, Daly, send it out one more time if you want. I want it on that.